Oh, hey friends. Hey, I wonder, have you ever had a nightmare where you came to school and you looked around and nobody was there? None of your friends, none of the teachers, nobody in the cafeteria. And it was a nightmare because it was Saturday and you came to school. Well, I'm not sure you've ever had that nightmare, but here we are at a school today where nobody's here. And it's all because of this pandemic with the COVID thing. But what we're going to see is a school where people are still active, still serving, still educating. Because one of the things we're going to learn today is we're going to see that no matter what stops through a pandemic, sometimes people have to stay away from their jobs, they have to stay away from school, they have to stay away from churches or from the office. But guess what? The farmers are still farming, because we've still got to eat. So food is still being served. I want you to come with me today and see this whole process of how these folks are serving a need in their community by giving food and serving others. You ready? If you're ready to go, at the count of three, give me a big old yeehaw. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw! Let's go. Well, there he is, Chris.
How you doing, Cowboy Dan? Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you, brother.
Excellent.
Thanks for letting us come today.
It's good to be here.
Well, it's not always good about everything what we're dealing with now, because you're the superintendent here in Maury County Schools.
Yeah.
And y'all are really dealing with, everybody's dealing with the COVID thing, but you're dealing with it in a really special way.
Well, we're trying.
Well, and you're stepping up, and I appreciate your enthusiasm and your passion. But we're here today to talk about this food program that you've got going for people here in Maury County.
Yeah.
Tell us about all that. Tell us about the heart of that thing.
So what we decided and what we realized is that although we're out of school and although kids aren't here every single day, we got a large majority of our kids that still need to eat. They rely on us for hot meals. They rely on us for love, for hugs, for care. And so that's what we're doing every single day in Maury County Schools is we're feeding kids breakfast and lunch as if we were in school.
That's great. Something I thought about is you're feeding kids and parents food, but you're feeding their souls too. Tell me what you feel about that when you say feeding their souls.
There are children that in our county, in our school system, that do not get nutritional meals. Sometimes their meals are fast food, or they're fatty, or they're no meals at all. And so there's something about getting that healthy, nutritious meal, getting it in your belly, getting that feeling, just feeling good about yourself. And so yeah, we're not just feeding kids, we're feeding souls in Maury County Schools.
Right. Well, I have to admit, and my friends on the frontier know this, I'm a person of faith. And so when you say to me, yeah, we're feeding people food, but we're feeding their souls, I think there's something spiritual about that too. As you say, kids, it's hard to go to sleep at night on an empty belly.
Yes, sir.
Hard to study and think on an empty stomach.
Yes, sir.
So these things are all important. And friends, what I'm wanting you to understand is that here in this one school, but this is probably going on all over the state and all over the country, we've got passionate people like Chris here, who don't just care about their job and what the money they're making. They care about their kids that are in their schools and their parents. Now, I have to ask you this, because as a parent, I'm thinking, well, you're feeding these kids. Well, where are these parents?
Yeah. Well, we have some parents that work multiple jobs in order to put what they can on the table, as well as pay their rent, pay their electricity. I mean, unfortunately, we have some parents that they're addicted to drugs, and thinking of eating or food is one of the last things on their mind. And so that's where we step in as kind of like that surrogate caregiver. Is we help parents that are struggling and having a tough time feeding their kids, and we basically say, don't worry about it, we got you, we'll take care of this.
That means so much to me, because as a parent, I'm sitting there thinking, where are the parents? But that's a good answer, because they are struggling.
Yes.
Because of this COVID-19, people are out of jobs.
Yes, they are.
They don't have money to even pay the rent or the light bill, that sort of thing, much less the food that they think about at the college.
And I've told parents that if you're not out of luck now, that may not be the case in 2, 3, 4 weeks from now. So take advantage of it now, even though that may not be the case. In this period of shutdown, every penny matters. So watch, save, scrimp where you can, and use us because we're here.
I want to say a word to my friends as we close this segment. I want you to take example from Chris here and from all the other folks that are here working. I want you to look for ways in this hard time to serve somebody.
Yeah.
Find a way to do something good for somebody. Yes, we've got to keep the social distancing. I get all that. We got to do the elbow pump and all that sort of thing. But don't forget, there are people out there, as you said, who are maybe out of luck right now.
Yeah.
And that could come around to any of us. So look for ways to serve somebody. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure, Cowboy Dan.
Well, so good to have you. Hey friends on the Frontier, as you know, I'm always thrilled to have you, and we always have so much fun. A little bit different maybe this time because I want to talk to you about some kind of serious things. If you look behind me, you will see that I'm sitting in an empty school cafeteria. Now normally at this hour of the morning, it's early in the morning, we would find kids in here just teeming with people because they're being fed a breakfast, but not today. And I'm talking to you a little more serious because we're all affected by this pandemic that we call COVID-19. I hope you're safe, I hope you're sheltered, and I hope you're well. But on that note, I wanted to talk some good things today because I've got my really good friend, Mr. Chris Fleming. Mr. Chris, say hello to my friends on the Frontier.
Good morning.
Now, Chris and I have worked together a lot over the years, especially through Farm Bureau and Tennessee Ag in the Classroom. And here we are in this pandemic where we're not serving kids in the cafeteria, but if we're at the school today where they're actually sacking up food, cooking and sacking up food to deliver to families who still need food even though they're out of school. And there are a lot of kids who fit into that category. On this note, I wanted especially, Chris, to talk to you about the fact that even though so many things are shut down, there are some things that cannot stop. And I love this little hashtag, still farming.
That's right. Agriculture is important because we need to eat 3 times a day. Some of us eat quite a few more times than that. But some students, the only good meal they get sometimes is that school meal. And so USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, sees that that is important. And so part of their budget is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Well, you said that a lot better than I just say SNAP.
SNAP.
Say that again.
So the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, made me wonder what that next word was. So the SNAP program, which makes food available for low-income people, but it also does school lunches, and that is the biggest part of the USDA budget. A smaller part of that goes to support farmers and to support UT Extension and the programs that farmers need so much to be able to do the things that they do as efficiently as possible.
When we say still farming, we're talking about the folks who are still growing the food, also still farming here. People still have to eat, so we're still serving meals to kids in that low income category. And I'm so grateful for the USDA, for the TDA here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Department of Agriculture. And of course, I'm so grateful to our farmers and ranchers out there who literally feed and clothe the world. Now, I also want to talk a little bit to my friends about the ag in the classroom. Now, we're going up on what, 30 years now? 30
years for the Tennessee Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom. The USDA started the Agriculture in the Classroom program back in 1982. Which was the year I graduated high school, so that was last century. But in Tennessee, we started a foundation in 1990, and that was for the purpose of supporting counties and what they were doing of educating students about the importance of agriculture. And it started with some farm days, started with some materials that we would give to teachers. And then it expanded. We do school garden grants. We do all kinds of things that help students realize that food comes from the farm.
Well, and that's what's so important to me, Chris, because we talk about in agriculture the importance of education. Most people are 3 or 4 generations removed from the farm. But what's kept us going this whole time is the fact that it doesn't matter whether we're in 1982, back in our day, or now in 2020, people still have to eat. So farming and agriculture is still a vital part of our whole community, our whole world system. Chris, thank you so much for being with me today and for teaching my friends on the Frontier some things about the USDA, ag in the classroom, how important it is to see where our food comes from. Now, I say this all the time, but you know it's true. Food does not come from the grocery store.
Right.
It comes from people who are farmers, ranchers who have grown the food, and then we bring it into the grocery store. So I always say this, and I'll end this little segment like this. Listen, when you see a farmer or a rancher, you say, thank you. Friends, even in a serious time, I'm having a lot of fun showing you some great things that are going on in spite of this pandemic. I'm here with Brian, who's the superintendent of school nutrition here in Maury County. Brian, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Would you please say hi to my friends on the Frontier?
How are you doing today?
Well, I wanted to talk to Brian because we are here and they're making sack lunches for people here who need food. They might be underprivileged, underserved, that sort of thing. But Brian, I really admire what you're doing here. And what I want to talk to you about is what these ladies are back there putting food in these sacks and preparing things for breakfast and for lunch. And talk to me about what's going into those sacks.
There's a lot of going into those sacks. I mean, there's a lot of time and effort to process through just every day. We're trying to meet a daily need, a weekly need for our kids. So we're looking at the fruits, we're looking at vegetables, we're looking at the meat, the grain, milk. We have to think through everything we're doing.
How about an example of what's going to be served for lunch today?
Lunch, we're doing a baked potato with barbecue pork. Yep. So we're trying to, we are trying to do some hot meals in there. It does take a little more time and effort and love. I mean, that's what these ladies, that's why these ladies are here.
That is so important, Brian. Thank you for saying that. See, friends, we're not just talking about filling sacks with just food. It's been thought about. It's been thought about the whole nutritional scope that people need for a very balanced diet. And so Brian and his team, you saw the ladies in there. Yeah, they're doing great stuff. And they're packing, and every time they put an apple or a biscuit or whatever it might be, a pancake, they're packing those sacks with love. And I think that's wonderful. Thank you for what you do, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you to those ladies for what they do. And when you're serving somebody, you're showing love. So try to go out and love somebody today. Hey friends, you've already seen how this food is being put together, sacked up, and they're giving both breakfast and lunch. But where I really wanted to go with this is I've got a family here who are going to be receiving this food this morning. And I've got Kayla, Kinsey, and Kyson. Am I right about that? Well, so glad to have you. Hey, y'all see, wave to my friends on the frontier, to the camera right there, okay? Wave, there you go, very good. Well, tell me something. First of all, Kinsey, are you glad to be out of school? Yes. How about you, Kyson? Okay, so you got happy kids. Mom, how you doing with all this?
I'm well.
Are you?
Doing well, yeah.
Okay, well, you got these kids at home, and are you able to do a little education with them somehow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, I specifically want to ask you about the food that you're going to get today. How is this impacting, how is this helping you and your kids?
It's helping so much. Not having to cook breakfast and lunch every day, it's been a blessing. To not have to go out and scavenge for all of the food is truly amazing.
You know, I hadn't thought about that, having to go in there and look at empty shelves in the grocery store.
And take our kids into these stores.
Yes. Kind of adds to the fear too,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's a good point, Kayla. Now, let me ask you, Kinsey, what do you like about the lunches? What's your favorite part about the lunches?
My favorite part, honestly, to be about is when they have pizza.
When they have pizza. Now, I'm shocked. I just got to know. You just got to know. I'm shocked that a kid like you said pizza was your favorite. Hey, Kyson, what about you on breakfast? What do you like the best about their breakfast? Sausage biscuits, man. Boy, you're right on the money, buddy. How long do you think we're going to have to be going through this, Kayla?
Hopefully not too much longer.
Yeah.
I've heard it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
But hopefully not too much longer.
I love your optimism. I sure do. And thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
And Kinsey, thank you. Kyson, thank you. Hey, can y'all do me one little favor?
Yeah.
I'm going to give the count of 3, and I want all of us to say, yeehaw. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to hear from you back there, Kyson. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw! Great.